Good afternoon, everyone, or good evening, though it doesn't seem like an evening. We're going to get the meeting started. Good evening, my name is David Campos. I am Chair of the San Francisco Democratic County Central Committee and will be calling to order the meeting of Wednesday, April 24th, 2019. And we will begin by asking our secretary to call the roll.
Good evening, Democrats. So, Member Alexander. Present. Member Alioto. Present. Member Baraka. Here. Member Bryant. Member Bryant. Chair Campos. Present. Member Chan. Present. Member DeJesus. Present. Member Duffy. Member Duffy. Member Feuer. Member Feuer. Member Galata. Present. Member Grove. Here. Member Gupta. Present. I'm here. Member Tomshay.
Excuse me.
Member Jones. Here. Member Kim. Here. Member Lacroix. Member Levitin. Member Levitin. Member Lowe. Member Lowe. Member Mahogany. Here. Member Mandolin.
Again,
Member Maxwell. Member Maxwell. Member Norton. Member Norton. Member Sousa. And then on to our ex officios. Member Feinstein. Leader Pelosi.
Speaker, yes.
Speaker Pelosi. Pardon me. Congresswoman Spear.
Here.
Lieutenant Governor Kounalakis. Treasurer Ma. Board of Equalization Member Cohen.
Present.
State Senator Wiener.
Here.
Assembly Member Ting. And Assembly Member Chu. We have a quorum.
So just for the record, Member Bryant as a proxy, and that's Member Alexander. We're gonna, before I begin, I want to note that I am wearing jeans this evening. In Santa Clara, it is Denim Day, and Denim Day comes out of the fact that at some point there was a trial in Italy where a woman was raped, and the court the judge in Italy said that found actually the assailant not guilty, saying that the woman was wearing tight jeans, and because of that she had somehow asked for it. And so out of that incident, a number of jurisdictions have taken on denim to bring awareness to sexual assault. And through that, making a statement. So I just wanted to note that. I see some folks doing that today as well.
Democrats took on shutdown last November.
Exactly. So, but anyway, we wanted to note that, which, I think it's important. The second item on the agenda is approval of the meeting agenda, and you have the agenda before you. Can we have a motion to approve the agenda? Motion by Mahogany, seconded by Souza. Is there any any motion to amend the agenda? Any questions? Item 12. Sorry? Oh, is that not? Oh, that's right, that's correct. So we have a motion to add item 12, which ended up being added after the deadline for the setting of the agenda. And to be able to do that, we need a 2/3 majority. So if we could have a motion to add item 12, we have a motion by McQuad, seconded by Mahogany. Can we do that without objection? Without objection, item 12 is added. So if we can have on the motion to approve the agenda, all those in favor say aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? It passes. We'll now move on to item number 3, which is the approval of the February meetings minutes. So we have the minutes of the February 27th meeting of the DCCC. If we can have a motion to approve, so motion by Souza, seconded by Lacroix. Any discussion, any comments, amendments? Can we take that motion without objection? Without objection, the minutes of the meeting of February 27th are approved. We're also, item number 4, the approval of the minutes of March 27, 2019. You have the minutes before you. Can we have a motion to approve the minutes? Motion by, yes, I'm sorry. Okay, this is for the March 27. Okay, so can we have that? We have that amendment. So there's a motion to amend to reflect that change, seconded by Souza. We'll take the motion to amend without objection. Can we now, on the minutes as amended, can we have a motion to approve? So motion by Gupta, seconded by Weeder. Can we take that without objection? Without objection, the minutes of the meeting of March 27, 2019 are approved. Now we'll move on to item number 5, and item number 5 is one of the most important items. And by the way, we live streaming the meeting. So we have we always live stream the meeting, so we have folks watching at home or perhaps at work. And we're going to now turn to public comment. This is the opportunity for us as a body to hear from San Francisco Democrats. And we want to thank all of you for coming today. And public comment will be on the items that are on the agenda for the DCCC. So we will give each speaker up to 2 minutes. And again, thank you for coming to see us. And if you, once I call your name, if you can please line up in the center aisle, and then proceed once your name has been called to speak. So let me call the first few names: Susan Pfeiffer, Gloria Berry, Ken Trey, Amy Baccarat, Brandon Harami, and Julie Roberts-Fong. So please come on up. Don't be shy. And you each have 2 minutes. If you have speaker cards, please bring them or give them to our executive director. Yeah.
Couple things.
You can turn it on. Okay, so
Is it on now?
Okay,
Can you hear
there
me
you
now? All right. Just two things I want to talk about. First, we've had this lull, and now Democracy Action, one of the groups I'm with, is going to start doing some phone banks. We're kind of easing back into it, so I think it's May 4th, a Saturday, we're going to be calling into Arizona. We're helping the Arizona Democratic Party. They want to increase vote by mail there for next year, so we're going to be calling voters to ask them to sign up for vote by mail. Last week, I think it was last week, I did back-to-back New Citizen Voter Ridge. I went to Fresno for the first time to do theirs, and I loved it. It's different from ours, but they need more volunteers, and I don't think I can do 2 days in a row of that. So I have the contact of Jackie Moreau, who coordinates going to Fresno. They don't have the volunteer base we do. So if anyone knows anyone who's willing to drive to Fresno, stay overnight, do a couple hours of voter ridge and come back, it really will make a difference in the Central Valley when we try to hold those districts. And lastly, in Oakland, the next day, we registered 285 people, which was another stellar day, thanks to the volunteer force. Yay! I think they did like 180 or 108 in Fresno. I didn't write it down. So, thank you all.
Thank you. If we could hear it for Susan Pfeiffer, who continues to do great work on behalf of the party. Just so you know, member Mahogany has the time card, so she will put up a card once, I think it's a warning of a minute, and 2 minutes, and 1 minute. Okay, go ahead.
I'm Gloria Berry, native San Franciscan. I live in District 10. Tonight on the agenda again is racist employment in San Francisco. It's sad that in 2019, San Francisco is still talking about racist practices. At the supervisors meeting last year, reports were given and supervisors acted so shocked by the data that showed the racist facts. We talk about it, collect more data, then from the federal level all the way down, nothing is done. It comes a time when you should come to the conclusion that if you have not taken significant action against racism, then you have aligned yourself with white supremacy. We talk about Trump being racist. We talk about Republicans being racist. We talk about moderates being racist. And we talk about progressives being racist. But continuing racist practice is no different than the people we talk about. Also, SFMTA needs to stop bragging at supervisor meetings about being the biggest employer of Black people. They have the lowest salary, so they need to please stop it. Also, the city needs to stop bragging about the box no longer being on city applications, because after the application is accepted by the city, fingerprints are ran, and besides, the ban on the box did not put Black people in living wage jobs. Mickey Callahan needs to be replaced. Also, I'd like to add that I support Kimberly Ellis for Democratic Chair for the state of California. It'll be the first time a Black person is the chair, and we need to support that and not continue racist practices. Thank you.
Thank you. We're going to read a few more names. Al Cole, Francisco Herrera, Dario Dorigo, and Jorge Garcia.
Good evening, DCCC, Mr. Chair. My name is Ken Trey. I'm a retired San Francisco Unified Social Studies teacher, former political chair of United Educators of San Francisco, and former executive board member. I'm sure everyone around the table here has noted the Red for Ed movement, which has swept across the country. So as you deliberate over the charter school resolution before you this evening, which the current political chair of UESF, Annabelle Ibanez, will be speaking to later, I would hope that you would focus on the nature of labor management in San Francisco schools. And with all of our problems, how we've succeeded in ironing out tough contract fights for our city. One of the main issues in West Virginia, in Denver, Colorado, in Los Angeles Unified and Oakland Unified was the issue of charter schools, their lack of union representation at those schools, and perhaps even, well, at least as importantly, is the amount of money that charter schools rob from the public school system, thus disallowing living wages for the people who do the work, enough resources for the kids to succeed, enough wraparound services, and so on. So there are a lot of good reasons, and Annabelle will refer to them later, to support this resolution and take a stand of the corporate sector-driven charter school movement. One of the focuses ought to be on the people who do the work in the classroom. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Next speaker, please.
Good evening, I'm Dr. Amy Beckbrack, and I appreciate you all taking into consideration the resolution to end corporal physical punishment of children. I urge all of you to vote in favor. To be sure, physical punishment of children is, in fact, the last bastion of domestic violence that we see in our homes. It's socially acceptable and legal. Right now, it's perfectly legal for an adult to hit a child as long as the injuries are only visible on the buttocks. It wasn't long ago that it was both legal and socially acceptable for men to spank or hit their wives using the same excuses and rationalizations that we're using today to hit children. There are a lot of excuses used to justify corporal punishment, including cultural and religious reasons, but at the end of the day, the research is really clear about the harmful impacts of spanking, and that's why professional organizations dealing with children have advocated ending all physical punishment as a public health issue. Reducing corporal punishment is essential to reducing all physical abuse and preventing negative effects associated with adverse childhood experiences, which our own Surgeon General has found to be associated with increased risk for physical and mental diseases into adulthood. We know that spanking is empirically similar to physical and emotional abuse and has similar long-term effects as other adverse childhood experiences. If we're going to advocate science and evidence and things like vaccines and climate change, then we should really be advocating for science and evidence for all things, including this issue, physical punishment, especially when it comes to our most vulnerable children. So I encourage you all to vote yes. We should have all received letters from experts around the country, as well as from the U.S. Alliance to End the Hitting of Children, and I'm happy to provide you with copies of those letters as well. And thank you for your support.
Thank you very much. I'm going to read a few more names. Pilar Mejia, David Schmidt, and Wanda Suave. Go ahead.
Hello, fellow San Francisco Democrats. Brandon Harani here, one of your appointed delegates. I am also the regional campaign director for Kimberly Ellis. We really appreciate you having her at your last meeting. I really want to urge you all to vote in favor of endorsing Kimberly Ellis this evening. As my colleague Gloria pointed out, she would be one of the first women in over 30 years to lead the state party. She would be the first African American woman to lead this party. She is the only candidate with experience running a statewide organization. She ran a merge from a regional organization, expanded it to have 3 locations, quadrupled the budget, and had a over 70% success rate in electing Democratic women. She is the only candidate who's proven that she can fundraise to keep the party's lights on, which I think is very important. She also has a law degree, which really does going to help us through all these lawsuits that are currently going on. And she is a very strong progressive who's going to lead this party into the future and help unify various factions of this party. She is currently endorsed by a Black woman organizing for political action. You may know Bawapa. Our Revolution National has endorsed her. We do have our Mayor, London Breed, has endorsed her, as well as former supervisors Jane Kim, former supervisor Sophie Maxwell, Board of Equalization member Malia Cohen, our great chair, David Campos, Supervisor Matt Meany, the San Francisco Bernie Crats, the Harvey Milk LGBTQ Democratic Club, the San Francisco Latino Democratic Club, and the board of the South Beach D6 Democratic Club. So San Francisco, we would love if the party hopped on board with the rest of us and supported Kimberly Ellis. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Next speaker.
Hi, Hi, my name is Julie Roberts-Fung. I'm a parent at a school in the neighborhood and wanted to speak to the impact that the charter legislation that's passing through the state right now, maybe 1505 through 1507, another couple of bills, what impact that would have on San Francisco. I want to urge the DCCC to support that legislation, which shouldn't be hard since they're following in the DCCC's footsteps. Since last year, you all passed a resolution calling on a moratorium on the expansion of charter schools. So your leadership is now being lifted up to the state level. The impact that charter schools have in San Francisco are that families don't have the same rights and protections against expulsions and suspensions that they have, that many families have fought for and won and that we have in our public schools. So charter schools don't serve all students. What's happened with the school that we're standing in right now and our school up the hill is that there's a KIPP charter school and also a private school in the neighborhood that recruit heavily from our 4th and 5th grade classes. So they take a lot of students from our schools. Every student who leaves takes about $11,000 with them, which deeply impacts our budget. And within, after the 10-day count, when the dollars are distributed with students, we find that a lot of the students are pushed back into our schools. And they're often the schools, the students that we love to serve that have IEPs, who are families in transition, who are English language learners. We also want to remind you that San Francisco knows best. Our local school board should have local control. At least the last 2 charter schools that have been approved in San Francisco have gone to Sacramento to overturn the decision of the school board. Those 2 schools have had problems with enrollment, which shows that our school board again knows best. One of the KIPP schools said that they would have 142 students, and they now have 65. That hasn't stopped them from taking space away from Malcolm X Elementary School, where Malcolm X students are not able to use their own bathrooms, and where they're also impacting other resources at the school. The other charter that was supported by Innovate Public Schools has also not met its
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'm going to read a few more names. Madeline McMillan, Kim Lynch, Twanda Bailey, and Larry Mitchell. Go ahead.
Hello, my name is Al Crowell. I'm one of the founding members of the U.S. Alliance to End the Hitting of Children. And I would like to emphasize that this may sound like a trivial change that could happen in our society. But after 30 years of working on this, starting when people were laughing at even thinking about this, until now, where physicians associations are saying you should not be hitting your children, that it is a very, very difficult change, because the easiest thing to do as a parent who has been hit, and so many of us were, is to hit your child. To not do that takes a conscious effort to change. Europe has changed and have done education programs. Sweden put on their milk cartons reasons why you shouldn't hit your children, and the children read that and had discussions with their parents about it, which I thought was a pretty clever idea. Germany has had studies that when they ended in 2000, all hitting the children, bullying in the schools went down. They also had a study that women, young women, were much more able, if they had not been hit, to stand up for themselves in dangerous situations concerning assault or sexual assault. So the rewards are great, but the opposition are we who think we might be destroyed if we really see that hitting is not a good thing to do because we were hit. Or we who want to protect our parents because they did the best they could. Or people who think that.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Hello everybody, Mr. President, honorable members. My name is Jorge Garcia. I'm here today because I want to everyone accept a new club, the Chicano Latino Immigrant Democratic Club in San Francisco. We are 20 members. We founded, everybody is Latino from different countries from America Latina. We are here tonight, part of the new community. And we inspired because we think so we represent all voices. What before we don't have a voice, now we want to use it for voice and coming to this beautiful party and be part of this family. But we want to integrate all 11 million undocumented people to this party as soon as possible. We want to teach to them how they can be part of this party and participate in transforming first the Democratic Party, the national one, later the state, and they get here and learning together and be a force task together and change this beautiful country by us. And we have here a friend, Francisco Herrera. Many people know him. He said months ago we inspired, and I don't know if I have an extra minute because it's very emotional to this thing, but we inspired because we have a wonderful representative Latino people. We inspired in a person teach to us 12 years ago how we can participate in campaign.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Jorge. Thank you. Next speaker, el próximo persona. Thank you.
Hi, everybody, and good evening. Can you hear me? Yeah. My name is Dario Darrigo. I'm part with my brother for this Chicano Latino immigrant democratic in San Francisco County. Just, I consider this organization now because, I have experience, thanks a lot, an immigrant too, and Latino people, I'm from South America, from Peru, but now I'm an American citizen. Integration, we're part of this. We need to make one education, especially all the people here, got it, together for go working with that Democratic Party. Here in San Francisco, or California, or America. Make it a really education, and we got it, start here in San Francisco, that really voice for all, immigrant community. We can do a really education, and for example, campaigns for voting, or, everybody together working here for America, especially all the immigrant community. Another thing, one poet, writer from Central America, Miguel de Unamuno, he say, the language, the idiom, is the blood from the spirit. Integration, we can do it together. That really important. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Next speaker, thank you.
Bueno, pues buenas tardes. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Francisco Herrera. Also here this evening to advocate for the adoption of the Chicana Latina Immigrant San Francisco County Club. Long name, we're working on it. And it's that long because it includes a lot of invisible people. People who are very visible, who contribute. Just 2 years ago, Latino immigrants contributed to Latin America $48 billion. And there's an interesting fund called the Suspended Fund in the Social Security Office, which is all the money that undocumented, pre-documented people, because one day they will have documents, contribute with the check. That amounted to $56 billion. So we're very visible, but in the time for taxation, but in terms of representation, it doesn't exist. So we are here very enthusiastic about building this body, this voice, which is loud and strong, and having the adoption of the Chicana Latina Immigrant San Francisco County Club. Muchas gracias.
Gracias. Thank you. Gracias a todos por estar aquí. Thank you.
Good evening, my name is Pilar Mejia, and I'm a member of the Latin American Teachers Association, the San Francisco Association for Bilingual Education, and a retired San Francisco Unified School District teacher. And I can tell, I'm here to support the resolution to end all hitting or any kind of physical or corporal punishment of children. As a teacher, I can tell you that I knew which kids are being hit at home.
They're the children who were either totally intimidated and unable to be themselves fully, or who are bullies themselves. And as this resolution so well says, and other people have, it's really important to change that culture. And those of you who are in leadership positions really have a responsibility to push this aspect. I was hit, and I did not hit my kids, and it was a very difficult decision, but it made all the difference in the world, not only for my children, but for me. And also, I support the union's position on charter schools, of course. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm going to read a few more names. Roxanne, Kesa Boudin, Rosen Eisner, and Cheryl Thornton. Go ahead.
Hi there, my name is David Schmidt. I'm the local coordinator of the California Clean Money Campaign, and we are the sponsors of AB 1784, the Secure the Vote Act. And that is a state bill in the legislature this year to get state funding to help San Francisco to develop an open source paper ballot voting system that is more secure, transparent, and publicly owned for the first time in America. And we've seen how, there have been cyber attacks on elections all over the world. It could happen here. Maybe it has already happened here, but we'll never know because the software that the vote counting systems use is corporate owned and proprietary, and it's secret. But we are in an emergent situation where we really need to develop a secure, transparent, open source paper ballot voting system. City of San Francisco has already started with $1.5 million. Supervisors approved it last year. And now we've got to get some state funding to complete that. And so we are holding an event on May 11th that everyone is invited to. It is a campaign rally, campaign kickoff for this bill, which is sponsored by Senator Wiener and Assemblymember Chu. And we'd like everyone to go on May 11th to this event, or campaign kickoff. And we would also like the Democratic County Central Committee to endorse AB 1784, the Secure the Vote Act. I know that you can't take it up in this meeting, but I hope you will take it up in the next meeting. So I will give you the endorsement form, and I will distribute flyers to everyone else. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next speaker, please.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Tawanda Bailey. Long story short, I started working with the San Francisco District Attorney's Office in 2001. Well, in 2015, my coworker called me a scary nigger. After he called a scary nigger, I reported the incident to a supervisor. After that, I met with the city HR. They took the information. I received a letter from Mickey Callahan stating that they were going to close the case and they wasn't going to investigate any allegations. So after that, moving forward, they began to harass me daily. I was retaliated in my evaluation. The whole 14 years I had been there, I had never gotten a bad evaluation until I was called a nigger, filed an EEOC complaint. And they treated me as such. So what you was called a nigger, keep working nigger, and shut up. And so I had a press conference in 2016, and after the top of the Channel 2, Channel 2 went over to the city HR and spoke to someone there, and their comment was, while we acknowledge the extreme offensiveness of the N-word, but one comment is not severely sufficient enough to create an abusive environment. Well, they couldn't tell me how I felt about being called a nigger. And so I don't have my job, but the one that called me the nigger is still there. All my dreams is shattered, and they literally want me to accept being called a nigger. And I just think it's very, very unfair. I mean, even all the assistant DAs in the office know my character and they believe me, and nothing was done. Like, no investigation, literally nothing.
Thank you very much, and thank you for sharing your personal story. Thank
I'm here
you.
today.
You can speak into the mic, just want to make sure we hear you. Thank you.
I'm here today. I'm retired now. I worked 40 years in the San Francisco Police Department. And the discrimination and the stress that I dealt with and went through during those years has been just phenomenal. With prayer, that's what has brought me through to go the whole 40 years. I dealt with so many incidents that's happening to me, even in my home, with dealing with the police department, coming in my home and just planning things and doing different things to me. And it's like I have a GPS on my life. It never goes away. It's like it's still haunting me to this day, only because of a rivalry that happened with two female Caucasians back in the day that wanted me to co-sign for what they were going through. So at this point, I've been dealing with just a lot of different stressful things that I'm just skating through and just keep, every time I take 2 steps forward, I need to kick 2 steps back. And it's just unreal that what one would have to go through just by working in the department, and the discrimination that I dealt with, even with a captain that was 6'2", 6'4", and 300 pounds that intimidated me even 2 years before I left. It's like intimidation that I dealt with, where he would close the door behind me and scold me about things that I had said. I'm just here to just say, those that behind me shouldn't have to go through what I've been going through all my life. So.
Thank you very much, and thank you also for sharing your story.
Can everybody hear me? Hi, good evening, everyone. My name is Kim Lynch, and I work for San Francisco General, but I'm based out of Palmdale Urban Health Center, right in the heart of the TL. I'm truly deeply hurt, and my heart is broken with all the nepotism, classism, racism, and discrimination which I see amongst Black employees throughout city and county of San Francisco and DPH. Right now, I deal with the opioid crisis and homelessness. If we truly want to address patient care, we need to change the culture of DPH for our patients to have a healthy and protective lifestyle. We need to clean house. Get rid of all these old heads. Start with Mickey Callahan. Yeah, I said it. Once I spoke to one of our medical directors, and he told me that he was afraid to leave the clinic one night. I said, you shouldn't be afraid. The population of patients have your back. It's ironic when the population has your back and you don't have the population's back. My name is Kim Lynch, and I approve this message.
Thank you. Next.
How you doing? Thanks for the invite. My name is Gary Mitchell. Mitchell has been a long-time resident out here with my family, moved out here in 1949. I'm employed at Hospitality Houses here at Advocate. I just want y'all to take a look at me. Everybody, take a look at me. Guys like me, we need jobs out here. You know, we being gunned down, we're gunning each other down. We have a crisis going on in the Black community. It's beautiful. You see all these different colored individuals up here, from white to the darkest hue. We're asking for inclusion. We're not asking for like anything special. The only thing we want is equality, equity, and a little bit of dignity. That's it. And I'm gonna keep it short. Like I said, take another look at me. Individuals like me will sit down here in the jail. We're not all criminals, not all drug addicts. My uncle's Superior Court judge in San Francisco has been there and sworn in by Ms. Brown. This has been out here for years. We've been dealing with the same, racism. I hate to use racism, discrimination, bias for the last 50 years. We only ask for more inclusion. Instead of being on the news, depicted as nothing but thugs and criminals. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I'm going to read a couple of names. Deirdre Elman Sumi, and I apologize if I mispronounce that name. Shahi Butter. And I believe that's the last part so far. Mr. Bodine.
Thank you. Good evening. My name is Jason Bodine. I'm a candidate for San Francisco District Attorney. I want to just remind everyone that white supremacy and machismo are not just issues we deal with in Washington or in some far off place in the Deep South. They are alive and well here in San Francisco. It is essential that every single city agency prioritize hiring diverse staff, retaining and promoting that staff. It is essential that every single agency in the city have staff that are culturally and linguistically fluent in the languages and the cultures that make this city so strong. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Hi, my name is Rasheen Ezra. I almost got it right. I grew up in the brick homes in the Sunnydale Green community in the Southeast District 10. And that's a neighborhood that a lot of some of the students have never been to or don't know exists, which is true of actually many neighborhoods in the Southeast and in District 10. We do a really good job in San Francisco and have for a very long time in acknowledging racism. Everyone should watch the documentary Take This Hammer. You can watch all of it for free online. But with things people were saying in the early 60s resonates still so true today. And this individual one-on-one implicit bias and systemic racism still continues to affect every single area of life, from healthcare to education to employment to housing to how we're treated under the law. And yeah, we need to work on that and acknowledge it instead of being like, oh, we're San Francisco, we're great. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Rosie. Next speaker.
Good evening. My name is Roxanne, and I'm up here from San Jose. And I came up 2 days ago to give a rah-rah speech for myself, but I'm not the important one. There's so many other important things that are going on right now. I'm going to use my time for those issues. I came up here to advocate on behalf of my sisters that are stuck in the lower parts of San Francisco and the gutters, and it just breaks my heart to come up here. It's good to be at the end of the line because there's so many strong people that have said all the right words for me already. Like the brother said, we just want inclusion. Like the sisters that talked about the discrimination. I was a judge until they outed me for being trans. So I'm trying to keep this positive. I went to a great District 6 meeting last night. If you missed it, it's your loss. She gave us a great message, and that's what I'm trying to walk tonight, and that's inclusion. Mohammed and I have been working on a resolution for the trans community, but I think with all the hate and what we've heard from all the speakers in front of us, the trans community is not the only one who buses back over. And so I'm opening to all the leaders and advocates from the other communities that I want to join me to make this a better world and a better place for all of us. 2 quick finals back to the rah-rah is I'm asking everyone to consider giving $5. I run a nonprofit for trans women and from other. I'm asking you to give $5 to the Insult campaign and the Better World campaign. Not because I'm asking you to vote for them, but because I want to have climate change on the debate at the Democratic debates. And I also like it that he's cussing out the Republicans on the East Coast for the trans rights. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next speaker.
Good evening, San Francisco Democratic Party and San Francisco residents. My name is Cheryl Thornton, and I'm here as a leader of SEIU 10-1, Erase Racism, and a community advocate. We want legislation to help with Black workers and residents in San Francisco. I've worked for the city and county for 28 years, and I've been subjected to retaliation and discrimination for advocating for equal pay for equal work. I was removed from my job in 2018 because I was a whistleblower. I returned to work after a year of being harmed from the discrimination, only to be driven out of my job again after 1 month. We Black people in San Francisco have gone from 20% of the population in 1970 to now less than 3%. And this is intentional. This just didn't happen. We are here tonight because we need economic equity in our community. And so I'm here again to ask the Democratic Party for legislation to protect Black workers who work for the city and county of San Francisco, so we will not be discriminated, retaliated, and displaced and pushed out of San Francisco. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Karen. Next speaker.
Hi, my name is Deirdre Elman-Suni. I am a teacher at Malcolm X Academy. I'm here representing UESF, and I, of course, recognize SFDCCC. I'm calling to ask you to please support the legislation to hold the charter school industry accountable. We are the school that was against the school board's recommendation. We were co-located with Kip Charter Elementary School, and we are an elementary school. And it has caused untold hardship for our school this year and destabilized our school in so many ways, because now we have to share our cafeteria with not only our lower grades and our upper grades, have to have different shifts in there, and as well as our playground, but we also then have to incorporate a shift for the Kip Elementary School. And why would anybody, we don't need another elementary school. Anyway. We didn't need one in the Bayview, and it's really caused division in the community and been very harmful. So please support this legislation. Hold them accountable. Hold charter schools accountable.
Thank you very much. Next speaker.
Candidate for public office, the CA-12 seat in the House. I'm here this evening as a representative of DSA, SF, Democratic Socialists of America. We're an organization that includes thousands of San Franciscans, and I'm here to express a very strong support of and solidarity with SEIU 1021 and Wealth Disparities in Black Community Justice for Mario Woods Coalition. Our community is beset by a crisis of inclusion that certainly includes our housing policy. It also includes any number of other policies, and to the extent our city is not recruiting or retaining workers of color, and particularly demonstrating an equitable role in the community as an employer, I would like to see this party stand strongly in support of measures to address those disparities and those biases. This is an opportunity for this party to show up in solidarity with the frontline communities that support this party, as well as the principles that we stand for both here in San Francisco and around the country. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is there any other member of the public who has not spoken who would like to speak? Seeing none, public comment is closed. And again, we want to thank all of the members of the public, all of the San Francisco Democrats who came to the party today to speak to us. We value your input and greatly appreciate sharing your thoughts and your personal stories with us. With that, we'll move on to item number 6, which is the reports from the various officers of the Democratic County Central Committee. I'm going to try to keep my report brief. I know that we have a number of items on the agenda, but the main thing that I would say is that one of the primary focuses of our work in the last month has been preparing for the upcoming convention, which, as people know, will be taking place in San Francisco at the end of May, early June. We're very proud to be hosting the California State Democratic Party Convention here in San Francisco. And the goal here is to make sure that we, as the San Francisco Democratic Party, have as much visibility and as much of a presence as we can at the convention. We are in communications with the state party, and I want to thank our executive director, Han Zhu, for working closely with the state party to make sure that there is a presence from San Francisco. We're hoping to be incorporated into the program, including the invocation, and hoping to be able to have at least speaking opportunities for the party and also for our mayor when the convention happens here. We will also be hosting a reception for delegates, and so we will keep you posted on that event. It will be the Saturday of the convention, so we will be giving you more details. And we're also very grateful to our regional director, who has been reaching out to all of the San Francisco delegates to the convention. The director held a very, I think, useful, informational briefing at Manny's, and I think a number of us were present to talk about, how the convention works and how these delegates can maximize their effectiveness, especially those that are new to being a delegate. And we will continue. We have a follow-up briefing that will be held, and I simply encourage people to reach out to the delegates and for the members of this body to make sure that we let people, other San Francisco Democrats, know the convention and that they can still have some role and some presence. And so with that, I will end my report and turn it over to our finance chair, member DeJesus. Oh, I'm sorry, you have a question? Oh. Sorry.
Okay, so I'll also be short, but I want to thank Con and Peter and others who've been working on launching the small donor program. We've talked about it numerous times, but it's almost ready to be launched. The small donor program, which I would expect everybody sitting up here to join, it's going to be live on the website, and it's a way to raise money going into 2020. And small donors are really needed. So we're going to start at the $10 level for friend, $20 for sponsor, $50 for partner, $100 for leader. And we're talking a monthly contribution on a credit card that people can give monthly. And everybody sitting here really should. There is category that we should fit into, and we should do it. And we should also commit to having 4 to 5 other people sign up on that. That's really critical. But it's almost ready to launch, and it has. It does, besides the sponsorship levels, it does also have awards that go with it. The Democratic Party card, a pin, a T-shirt, attending the chair's breakfast and other things like that. So I want you to look out for it. It's almost ready, about a week or so. It should launch, and we should sign up, and we should have a commitment from all of you to sign other people up. And we have it for. Yeah, we have a 30-day trial, not trial, a 30-day partner where we're really gonna all-out effort to get people to sign up on the small donor program. That's good.
Thank you. Thank you. And if we could give Han a big round of applause for working to make that happen. And just so you know, the goal within that first 30 days is to actually get to 100 people who are committed to being and our hope is that we can have these 30 members of this body be the first 33 to sign up. So stay tuned, and it's especially critical for the federal fund to get those personal commitments from people, especially people on the committee. Next, voter registration. I know there's been a lot of activity, so Member Brock.
Thank you. I would just like to, of course, always thank Susan for going out to the Paramount. We got almost 300, Susan? Yeah. Yes, and of course, our executive director. I would also like to thank Tyra Fennell for having a voter registration event this past weekend. At the Great Green Weekend. I'm always interested in voter registration events. If you have an idea of where you would like to have one, please reach out to me. You can reach me through Han, or you can reach out to me through Facebook. I also am really glad to see that we have vote.org on our website now, so you can register through our website, vote.org. And actually, I'll be meeting with one of the creators of vote.org coming up in May to find out how we can better track online voter registration so that we might be able to quantify that data. That is all.
Thank you very much, Member Baraka, for all your work. And now, Club Chartering, Member Gupta.
Thank you, Chair Campos. So, as you heard during public comments, the Chicano Latino Immigrant Democratic Club is seeking chartering from us. They have submitted all the required paperwork, bylaws, a list of their executive committee. They 20 members who are registered Democrats who intend to register as Democrats, and several of their members of their executive board are here. They spoke during public comment, so I first wanted to just see if anyone had any members had any additional questions for that.
I just want.
There's a mic right there.
Oh, I just wanted to say that I'm excited that they're.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Hold your place. I just wanted to say I'm very happy because that means that they will get one delegate to the pre-endorsement meeting that the Democratic Party is holding, and that is where we get grassroots to vote on who is going to be our senators and who is going to be our assembly people. And I think it's extremely important. So I am absolutely ecstatic about this.
Wonderful, thank you. I also want to just say that President Jorge Garcia, president of the club, he specifically discussed with me that they wanted to form this club because they felt previously as immigrants unsure about the Democratic Party, unsure about just political process in general, and they felt very welcomed by the Democratic Party and felt like it was in line with their values and encouraging to immigrants in the community that was, suspicious for the priors of the political process too. So, if there's no further objections or questions.
I just wanted to add this point, on a more personal level, for me, having been undocumented and being an immigrant, I really believe that it's important for us as a party to embrace this community because this is ultimately who we are about. We know who we are and what we're about as a party, to make sure that we are relevant in the lives of the most disenfranchised people in our community, in our society. And so I'm very proud of the fact that these folks feel connected to the Democratic Party here in San Francisco, and I think that's a testament to the work that all of us are doing. A las personas que están aquí presentes, yo me siento muy orgulloso como la persona encargada del partido aquí en San Francisco, que ver que esta comunidad inmigrante se sienta conectada a este partido, porque como partido nuestros principios son estos, de conectarnos con las personas que están, se sienten más desamparadas en nuestra sociedad, y la comunidad inmigrante es una parte principal en eso, ¿no? So, and thank you to Member Gupta. Yes.
I also want to welcome the new club in, and I just want to point out this is a great opportunity for them to go as observers to the Democratic Convention, the State Democratic Convention, which is going to be here in San Francisco, start May 31st to June 2nd. And what I'd like to do, David, is maybe add to the convention committee a fund for observers, maybe a pro bono or a contribution, because it's very expensive. $120 to attend as an observer, but maybe we can talk about some funds available, scholarship money available so people can go and check it out. It's a great opportunity to see the state in action. Thank you. Welcome.
So I'd like to make a motion that we charter the Chicano Latino Immigrant Democratic Club.
I will second that motion, and so all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? It's unanimous. Congratulations. Welcome. Bienvenidos. Thank you. Gracias. We'll now move on to outreach. Member LaCroix.
Hello.
Congratulations to our newest Democratic club. I will just I'll keep my comment short, but earlier this. Having our convention in San Francisco next month, and incorporating outreach events that promote.
Thank you very much. Now our treasurer, Member Alexander.
Yes, okay. Good evening. In your packets, on the left-hand side, behind the list of our names, the rosters, you will find the budget report. So in terms of cash on hand in the federal cash account, we have $7,953.76. The state committee, we have $9,705.73. That's significantly down from last month, and the reason is because we had a $5,000 bill that we paid out of the state account. That was for legal fees that we, to our account, sorry, accounting fees that we had encumbered, but our accounts were graciously waiting until we had a little more money, or a little more padding in the accounts before they received their payments. And then also because we put down $15,000 on the convention event deposit. We expect to get some of that back, but that's why there was kind of a big change from last time. You can really quite easily see what all the expenses are. The new format that the accountants are using is very, I think, user-friendly. Any questions?
Members Beard.
Just looking at the expenses, $42,000 balance, cash balance, something like what, for cheap. So are we looking at not having enough money to survive the
No.
So you're looking at the state expenses to date, the 40,000, those are things, that's money out the door.
Sure.
Not encumbered expenses.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, so what this doesn't, I don't exactly know why they do it like this. It's not negative. If you look at the top, it says total income $8,200, total expenses $41,907.03, net income $33,770. That just says what's come in and out this year. If you look on the left-hand side, in the state committee, we have $9,705 in the bank.
So
what are our monthly expenses?
So our monthly expenses, we have enough money to cover our monthly expenses for the next month. I think that what you saw here, if I may, is there is right now a fundraising effort to cover the expenses for the convention. And so we just had to do an upfront payment of $15,000, but we're in the process of fundraising right now to get most of that, in fact, more back. But I mean, I think the point here though, right, is that we need to have a major fundraising effort. We actually, our hope has been to have a big fundraiser, and we have been sort of waiting to figure out a date that works. And so our hope is that we will have a date, so based on sort of who we're trying to focus the event on. Right, exactly. But I mean, look, I mean, the fundraising is an ongoing effort, right? And you're talking about 10,000 plus a month that is needed to operate the party, right? To have the lights on and all of that. We will be able to do that, but we need to do more. Last year, the party raised and spent over $800,000. So it is possible. It's just a question of we collectively making a priority to fundraise. And I think that if there are things that people can do, we just held a fundraiser, about a month ago, And again, the big fundraiser, we're trying to find a date that works. And that's where the bulk of the money is raised. Our hope was to have this fundraiser sooner. There have been challenges with that, so we're trying to find a date that works.
Anything else? Thank you.
Thank you. Next, partnerships. Member Maxwell, I think she's not here, but I know that that work is ongoing. And we'll move on to committees. Member Susan.
Hi, good evening. Thank you everyone for sharing your stories. It's so important to listen, to hear from you what you want from the party. And as a DACA recipient, being on the UCCC representing the immigrant community, it's so important for me to hear other communities advocating for their priorities. So thank you for that. We are making progress for the convention planning. We are focused on the logistics, but we also need support with sponsorships and recurring donations. So I ask for your commitment tonight to sign up for those and also to engage the community and invite them to join. We're also looking for volunteers. And then another thing we're planning is a press conference to announce the non-citizen resolution that will allow immigrants to have a seat at the table. And so really excited about that. And we'll keep you updated with other opportunities for engagement. But again, thank you for being here. We appreciate your support, and let's work together to move the party forward.
Thank you very much. Yes, Member Brown.
Member Souza, someone wants to volunteer. What's the best way? Should they reach out to Han, or should
They
they
should reach out to Han directly, or myself. We also have the website, so we created a volunteer form. But if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me directly.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. We will now, communications, I know Member Milana is not here. Move on to internships. Member Gupta.
Thank you. So first of all, I just want to thank our internship committee members, Member F. Baraka, LaCroix, Chan, Mahogany, and Jung. We had 30 applicants, and we interviewed senior applications. We really impressed people from in various schools from around the country. So we did a really concerted effort to publicize our internship, reached out to other elected officials, reached out to school boards, to city college, to just members. So thank you all as well, all other members who publicized the opportunity. So we had 30 applicants. We interviewed 21 of them. So far, and then we are honing down who we're going to offer the spots. We will have spots for 6 interns and fellows total. At this point, we have confirmed 2 individuals. 2 others have been invited. We're still waiting for responses and their confirmations, and then we will invite another 2. Their start date, so you all know, will be June 17th, which we'll be doing orientation. We'll all meet them at the first meeting, the June meeting, the June DCCC meeting. And also we'll be reaching out to all of you for mentorship opportunities for them. So we made it really clear to them it's not a typical summer internship, first of all, and that it's paid. And second of all, that it's not just phone banking and canvassing. Not that there's anything wrong with that. That will be part of it, but we also want them to meet with other elected officials and get mentorship. Meet with other important organizations that are in line with democratic values, such as labor, such as UNICEF. So we'll be reaching out to all of you regarding meeting with them and coordinating them. So we appreciate in advance you all giving your time to meet. And they'll be here through about mid-August. It depends on when they have to return to school and their various other commitments. So if you have any ideas or opportunities, they'll be at Sunday streets, they'll be at voter registration events, They will also be doing phone banking type of thing and things too. So really appreciating the idea of the support system out of them.
Thank you, Member Gupta, and to all of the members who participated in that process. And the one great thing about this is that there's so much interest, so many applicants. The hardest thing is figuring out who gets the internships, but the fact that people, especially young people, are interested in the work of the party is something that should make all of us feel pretty good. The fact that they want to intern with
And
us.
we encourage all of them to look at actual internships, help to volunteer with the party, and we're adding them to our listserv because it's engaged.
Great, thank you. We'll now move on to our executive director and his report. And I simply want to note, if you have visited our website, we have a new, revamped, up-to-date website. And I know that I have been involved in the teacher policy for a very long time, and it's taken us a long time to get to this point. And so if we can give a big round of applause to our executive director for making that happen. And, it only took you 2 months since you started to make that happen, so greatly appreciated.
Thank you, Chair. So since member Galata wasn't able to make it to tonight's meeting, I'll just go over a little bit more about the website. As you notice, there's a new one. So a couple of things the state of the job. We run we're also looking to make more sustainable more people. One thing we are going to do is featuring highlighting our co-brother events, and we're currently in the process of testing out a program where we can directly link it to your Facebook page and it'll automatically populate on our website. So in the next few weeks, we'll probably reach out to clubs, leadership to get that set up for everybody. And then you can also find more information about the convention itself on our site. We have a volunteer sign up for a booth, as well as more information for delegates and other folks who want to get involved. And I think that's it.
Great. Thank you very much, Han. Now we'll move on to our regional director, Director Kelly.
Well, a couple of things. We have one more meeting. If you didn't get to go to the meeting last night or the meeting for new delegates, we do have a meeting next Monday night. It's in San Mateo, and I will make sure that it is on the website, on the Democrat website, and that it is on the CADEM website, and that will be starting, I'm almost positive, at 7 o'clock, and you'll find out everything you need to know about the Democratic Party and the convention. So, one of the things that I told people last night was that you can, if you are a delegate to the convention, they, even though they didn't have it on the convention page, the ability to sign up for standing committees is open. And it is open by going online to cadem.org. Then you push our party. And after that, you push standing committees, and the first thing that comes up says that you can apply to be on a standing committee. And it is due on Wednesday, June 12, 2019 at 5 p.m. And that means for the rest of the next time you can be on a standing committee. If you want, you can just contact me and I will put my name down as recommending you for whatever committee you want to be on. Some people, listen to me. Not often, but for committees, my name is okay. I wanted to talk a little bit about the changing the ADEMs. We've been talking about this and making them more accessible, making them easier for people to vote, because as Democrats, we want as many people to vote as want to vote. All right, so a couple of things are being planned, and we'll either do it through a bylaws change or a rules change, and I am working with the rules committee on this. The time period will be lengthened, not just if there's traffic or you're having to come a far piece, but because people had 2,081 people in one of our districts, and 1,879 in another one of the Region 6, that we will lengthen the time to 4 to 5 hours, that we will send the party the proof of the accessibility of the room, and that it has exits and entrances that are separate, and make sure the recording, it's right there. It's right there in the bylaws of the party that they must send a notice out to all registered delegates of the meeting, of the fact that it's happening and the meeting times. We are going to ask for that, make sure that we are given enough things so that we can register voters if they want to become Democrats, we can register them, and that not just Region 6, we're the only region that had, our ballots had translation on the ballots. And we want translations on all the ballots, and I have told the party that I will make sure that they can get any and all languages that each district needs, because we need certain ones. People in San Jose ask for a different way. People in my other district asked for one extra, and I got it for them. So on the ballots, and so that people don't have to look for a sign up in heaven to tell them exactly what to do to vote. So that is important. I would like to thank the Democratic Party for having someone help make this meeting accessible by coming down and getting me in the elevator today. That is very important, and let the thing I could call, and some lovely young man took me out in the elevator. I thought that was very nice. I do want you guys to realize, I was just told by Han, that people who wanted to volunteer for the convention, there are only, it's on a waiting list now because so many people are volunteering. But if people are working the party, I am sure you can get them in. And if they're working the booth, it's only a table, right? The table, you can get them in. And there is another way to get in for absolutely no money. If you would be willing to serve as a helper for people with disabilities, you will get a pad and you will be able to sit with that delegate, and you won't have to go to the special section if you want to be inside the rooms. And I will be checking to absolutely make sure that Moscone will allow you in to go to all caucus meetings and all parties. I'm not sure about the rest of the stuff, but I will do that. But please, it's a big party, and we want to make it a really good party, and we want to make it the most accessible party, our Democratic Party. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now we're going to go on to item number 7, and I want to thank a number of folks who have who came to the meeting. Many of them spoke already and shared their stories. Item 7 is an update from SEIU 1021 on the need to address the discriminatory employment practices of the city and county of San Francisco and to support Black workers. This is an item that at the request of SEIU 1021, I asked that it be put on the agenda, and we have 10 minutes allocated for this item, and I want to take half of that to hear from the representative from SAU 1021, Felicia Jones. And I want to say that one of the things that has been central to the San Francisco Democratic Party is to support our workers and to support our government workers. And of course, to the extent that there are concerns that have been raised by African American workers, that we want to make sure that we give them an opportunity to speak to us about those concerns. And so with that, I will open the floor to Felicia Jones. And thank you again to you and to your members for coming to speak to us tonight.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, David. I would like for all of the people who came to support this very important issue to stand. This is just a little of us right now. And we have to really begin to have a Black agenda. We have to have a Black agenda. And I feel it is your responsibility who is pushing and garnering money for Democrats in the city and county of San Francisco. It is also your responsibility to make sure that they have a Black agenda. I look at my father as a Democrat. I'm a Democrat, born and raised in Hunters Point. 60 years ago, I would look at my father as a laborer, living in the projects, coming home, taking his bath as a roofer, putting on his fine clothes, and going to vote. Black people, the majority of Black people in America are Democrats. And when I look back, and I look back on this city, and I look back on the racism, the discrimination that is happening to Black people in this city, we are not doing enough. We are not doing enough. 55 years and 3 reports on studying Black people here in San Francisco. Many people who are on big positions in San Francisco, political positions in San Francisco, they have been on these various task forces. 55 years, 3 reports. Where are Black folks now? What are they doing? I remember you have to call Pelosi's office and beg to have someone come and look at the mold down in Sunnydale. You know, I shouldn't have to do that. I'm a constituent. But 55 years, 3 reports. The first report, the unfinished agenda, 1964 to 1990, published in 1993. The second, African Americans Out Migration Report in 2009. The third, African American Community Empowerment Initiative in 2012. And so I stand here before you, not to tell you no story. I'm here to challenge each and every one of you as a Democrat. As a Democrat. I was born out of a struggle. That struggle is being Black in the city and county of San Francisco as a public worker who works for the Sheriff's Department, who have been retaliated against, lied on, hostile work environment for the last 10 years. And I say, if you haven't found anything on me in 10 years, well, hell, you ain't gonna find nothing. I'm a good worker, I come to work. And the thing of it is this, David, I respect you because you were there for Mario Woods, you and John Avalos. You guys were the first 2 board of supervisors who stood up. But the thing of it is this, we got to stop talking. A hearing, as Sandra Fuhrer told me, I see her back there. A hearing is nothing but a hearing. A proclamation is nothing but a proclamation. Without any power. Without any power. So if you guys, as I just heard, and I'm not familiar with the DCCC, this is my first time. In fact, I couldn't even get the name right. And I'm wondering why. Why, as a Black woman who's been working all her life, never heard or never know anything about the DCCC? So you guys got work to do, other than what I'm here for. And so, the thing of it is this. What are you going to do? What are you guys going to do? Because Black people in this city and county is suffering. And yeah, you hear the stories and you say, thank you for coming. Thank you for sharing your story. Well, damn it, it's not about just sharing your stories. It's about what are you going to do about it? What special interest do you have in changing what is going on with Black workers in the city and county of San Francisco? Yes, I am an SEIU 1021 union steward. I'm an SEIU 1021 delegate. I'm an SEIU 1021 leader around racism. But I also am an activist. I'm also an unapologetically Black woman. I am the founder of Wealth and Disparities in the Black community. I am the founder of Justice for Mario Woods. I am the one who brought the Attorney General to the Bayview because I'm challenging politicians around the state, around the city, that you cannot continue to leave us out. You can't do it. And so when you have Black workers in the city of, county of San Francisco, where the average hourly pay is $34.27, and Black workers aren't making that, that's a problem. When you have Black workers who are only about 15% of the total employment of the city and county of San Francisco, and we represent the highest in termination. We represent the highest in medical separation. We represent the highest in retaliations. We represent the highest in going to EEO on hostile work environment. We represent the highest, but also we represent the lowest in promotions. We represent the lowest in professional jobs. And you know what? This is nothing new. Y'all know about this stuff. You guys read. You read reports. You get statistics. And why is it still like this? Why is it still like this? Why is Black people so marginalized in the city and county of San Francisco that really, whoever you support, where's our agenda? You can raise $800,000 in a year or more. Where's Black folks' agenda? So I'm not coming to tell a story. Thank you, David, again for allowing me to come and say this, but I'm coming to challenge you. And I'm going to challenge you. If you know Felicia Jones, you better know. She will challenge you. And I will not sit down. You can't push me to sit down because this issue right here needs to be tackled. And so I want to know, all you guys representing Wiener's office, Pelosi's office, all the other Democrats that you guys are getting ready for the 2020 election, the Black vote counts too. And who's the number one voter that makes a difference? Who is it? Black women. Unapologetically Black women. And so we organized. So I want to work with you and hopefully not against you. Because this is why I'm here. To get support in helping Black workers. Out of the 5 top classifications, thank you, Sandra Viewer, out of the top five classifications of all ethnicities in the city and county of San Francisco, we are at the bottom. Recreation leader, transit driver, And then the other two are what? Non-permanent exempt trainees. Let you go at will. But all other ethnicities in the city and county of San Francisco, they have 5 top civil service classifications. But not Black people. Not Black people. Not Black people. And so, new day, but same old thing. New day, but same old thing when it comes to Black people. And so, what are you going to do about it? And so, you want to talk to me? You want to talk to us? We're available to talk. I know Sandra wants the racial equity department. I don't, for me personally, I think it leaves a lot of people off the hook. People need to be held accountable. And David asked me something about Mayor Breed. What is she doing? I sit on the task force. David says, oh, she doesn't need a task force. When you're the politician, I'm not a politician, do something about it. Do something about it, David. Do something about it. But I know one thing, Black folks is going to do something about it. And if that means we don't vote for you, then we're not going to vote for you. We're going to vote for people who want to put us on the platform. The other thing is this, I'm going to say this, how long do I have? So you guys can have some questions. The other thing is this.
You can wrap it up and take questions.
Okay. The other thing is this. As an SEIU 1021 member who pays dues, lots of dues. As an SEIU 1021 member who gives monies to a lot of you guys' campaigns and causes and buy tables at your dinner or for your breakfast or whatever it is. I've been there and I'm like, dang, they giving them that much money? You have to understand one thing. Those dollars that you're getting from SEIU 1021, those are also Black workers' dollars. And we demand, we're not begging, we're not asking, we're demanding to be part of the political platform here in the city and county of San Francisco. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. So, this is an opportunity to ask questions. Member Jesus?
Curious, so I guess I should talk to Supervisor Fewer. I mean, is there like a contract or how do you put this up to people so that people look at that close classification? When I first started the city, I was there too. I was a probationary employee for like 5 years, no benefits, no pension, and I got half the salary of everybody else. So I do understand that, and that's kind of shocking if you're still doing that and how the way.
Yeah, so I just want to say that we heard loud and clear, but also we've been looking at a lot of data, right? And so what Felicia says is absolutely right, is that on average, civil service employees, on average, Black civil service employees make about $60,000 a year. Average white civil service employees make about $150,000 a year. Latinos, $111,000 a year. Filipinos, $120,000 a year. And so we are also looking at another issue, which is also the non-exempt temporary positions and who are in those. And when you break it down, I think along racial lines, you will see that the temporary employees in the lowest paying jobs, which are these 99 series jobs, which are training jobs, are almost all Black. But when you look at the 1800 series, which is the analyst series, all those that are temporary or bypass the civil service process mainly are white. Then when you take, I mean, it's kind of a hot mess, I would say, but We have legislation, and she's absolutely right, to form an Office of Racial Equity within the Human Rights Committee and with Cheryl Davis. And we've been working actually, and it's going to have teeth. I know it's taking time, but we have a lot of legislation that's written at the city, and there is no teeth in it. There's no accountability. So this is going to have teeth. This is have accountability, but it's not just about city workers. It is also about the state. It's about the state of really people of color in San Francisco and how are they faring in comparison to other races. So I think we don't do this comparison. At SFDCCC, we do it all the time. Who are the high achievers? Who are the ones graduating? And then we look at the ones that are not. And then we see that there's a gap. So right now, there isn't, a lot of departments are not collecting data. A lot of departments are not sharing data. A lot of departments, so it's about so it's not about only data, but it's also gonna have teeth in it. And I can explain it all to you. In fact, I can actually bring it here so you can vote on it maybe. But I actually think it's a step in the right direction. I know that folks have been waiting a long time. But it took us a while to write it because we collaborated with a lot of folks and we actually wanted to have some teeth, to have accountability. And I was actually shocked when I went to the city of San Francisco, there was no racial lens at all. So whenever you create policy or you make policy, there is no racial lens at all. It is not about how will this affect this group? How will one group fare better than the other? So this is about racial equity. It is not about equality. If things were equal, we wouldn't need to talk about equity. Things are not equal. And so so during this budget cycle, we are looking at 5 FTEs actually to be in this office. So it's going to be a big, be a big deal. But I'm budget chair, so I hope that will happen. But I also think that's long time, this has been needed for a very long time. Civil service is a part of it, but civil service actually is very broken. So that is our next thing, because civil service is absolutely broken. And you're right. The vehicles to which to get remedy are not working, and they're not working for people of color. We've heard complaint, and then audacity when someone uses the N-word with someone else, and they say, oh, it's only a one-time incident, so it's not a hostile workplace. I can tell you right now, someone called me a Chinaman, that is a hostile workplace. Exactly. So there's a lot of issues. I just want to say that we are just cracking at it right now, but I'll probably come with a resolution and hopefully that this committee will support an Office of Racial Equity at the City and County of San Francisco.
And I want to say thank you, Sandra, for the work that you have done and all of the information that I quoted you tonight. We wouldn't have had if Supervisor Fear had not requested it. But I also want to say this, David, your protege, Hillary Ronan, when she decided to do the sexual harassment department, or whatever it's called, it did not take her long. It did not take her long. And I'm just gonna say this. When it comes to Black people, they on a tricycle. Tricycle is not gonna go over no mountains, not gonna go over no bumps, but it has to be a more speedier process. And so, as I said, I'm new to the DCCC, but I definitely, David, you gather whoever wants to talk with us and meet with us so we can decide how you guys are going to support Black workers in the city and county of San Francisco. That's in addition to whatever Supervisor Fuhrer is doing. But we're here because we want some results. And we're going to demand results from all around the city and county of San Francisco in the political arena.
Member Sousa, and then Member Alvarado.
Thank you. Me, as a member of the DCCC, as an immigrant, as a person of color. I commit to work with you and work on a resolution for next month. And to also focus on the Community Reinvestment Act to ensure that banks are investing in communities of color, providing home ownership opportunities, small business lending, because we need to address this equity issue, because African Americans matter. We are people, people of color, we matter, immigrants matter, and we want to work with you and we commit with you. And so let us know how we can support. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Angela Alioto, and full disclosure, I'm a civil rights trial lawyer, and I have these cases. I have literally dozens of them. It's what I do.
Maybe we can do a class action.
So what I'm going to tell you, what I'm going to tell you is more egregious than even you are really understanding. When a corporation and/or an HR and/or any superior ever tells you that this is the law, the word nigger is not enough in the workplace, that is absolutely not the law. So they're making fun of you by just telling you that. It is the law that the word nigger in the workplace is per se racial harassment and racial animus. Per se, no questions asked. Okay? It's direct evidence. As a discrimination trial lawyer, I always have to pull the intent out of the mind of people, because you very rarely have direct evidence of discrimination. You very rarely have, I'm not going to work with this nigger, I'm not going to work with that nigger, though you do have a lot of cases like that. But it's rare. The other cases are the ones where they really dislike black people, and they do it by never letting you get one step ahead, while you're the one who is teaching the person to become your supervisor, to become your vice president, to become your...
So what I'm saying is, I was the one of the board of supervisors. I did all the morning business class, okay? It was supposed to be 16% and every single month.
In the city. It never got past 6%. It started at 3, and then I left office, and it's back down to 4. We got up to 6% of all contracts in the city and county of San Francisco are going to be given to African Americans, especially people who have born and raised in San Francisco. It was a San Francisco African American preference for contracting, with all these big contracts were given. And instead, it's gone down, and we've run the African Americans out of town. So let me just tell you something. When people tell you it has teeth, it doesn't have teeth unless you put the teeth in it.
That's right.
You have to put the
That's
teeth
right.
in it. You're a great speaker. You're a great speaker. You go speak. You let them hear you. You go to the HR room. You go to the board of directors. You go to City Hall. You let them hear you. They're not going to put the teeth in it until they know they're going to hurt if you don't. And the only way, unfortunately, it may sound like I have a conflict of interest, but what the hell, I don't care. I'm a very busy person. I got way too many cases. Until you hit them in the pocket, they don't listen. I won the largest race case in the nation in 2001 against Wonder Bread in the heart of San Francisco. Heart of San Francisco. I said to the HR lady on the stand, what was the name of the book you found in the cafeteria? In the heart of San Francisco. She said, How to Kill a Nigger.
Okay.
And I said, what'd you do with How to Kill a Nigger? When she told me the name of the book, I must have said it 100 times, because they don't get it. They don't get it.
Stop, please. Don't waste
our time.
If you never heard of PTSD with black folks,
I hear
that's
you.
what
Okay.
So quit saying it.
Okay. But my point is, unless you hit where it counts, unless you really speak up like you have tonight, it's not going to matter. So congratulations on a wonderful speech, but please go out and be heard well, because you're really good at it.
I'm gonna, sorry, apologize, I'll turn it over to Member Baraka, but I want to say this, just certainly on my own personal behalf, that I don't think that it's appropriate to say the word. And I think that as a person of color, if anyone actually said a word that was derogatory towards my kind. I think that hearing it has a certain effect. And so I think that you can say the N word without saying the word, because I do think that words matter. And so I would simply say that to my colleagues. I think that you can make your point and still refrain from using the word.
And before Barack speaks, I just want to say for me and what I'm teaching my allies, the Bernie Kratz, DSA, San Francisco for Democracy, SURGE, and all of my other white allies, Harvardville, that stop saying people of color. Because one, Black and brown people get lost in that. And so for years, I don't know who came up with that it's politically correct to say people of color, but it's not. I'm Black, Latinos are brown, Asians are brown, so it's Black and brown people. And so as we move forward, teachable moment. Let's go back to the old way, when we used to say Black and brown people.
Member Brock.
Thank you, Felicia, for bringing this very important issue up. And I mean, I could go into my personal stories about being in some very situated positions, or coworkers get significantly more money than I do, and overtime. I'm denied overtime, and I don't get the same wage, and for folks that are doing the same thing that I'm doing. So I get that, and thank you for bringing this very important issue. Also, I'd like to thank Member Fjord for all her work she does for supervisors. And this next statement is somewhat rhetorical, but why is Vicki Callahan still in that position? That makes absolutely no sense to me. Absolutely no sense. And I know you don't have the answer, but I've been through the kangaroo court of the EEO process. It's absolutely ridiculous. It is completely broken. So the next question is, what can we do? I mean, Chair Campos, I think that we might want to consider having a task force or a working group to see what we can do to support Felicia and all the members here who are here to give voice to this very important issue.
Member Alexander.
So I first want to appreciate the challenge that we have to have a left agenda. That is true. Thank you everyone for coming out repeatedly. Some of you are new, some folks have been here before. You're always welcome. So I wanted to also, hearing the conversation about EO, there has to be somewhere some thinking about what are the best practices for internal EO reviews. We don't have them, but but that is a platform that I think the Democratic Party should push out for all employers, the city and not, is like what is the best, what are best practices, what are things that we can actually hold up as like things that should be adopted. We can certainly the call for legislation is something we can get behind. We can pass legislation. We can certainly pass resolutions that are calling on legislation. But I also think it's incumbent on us to figure out what are the best practices for employers against discrimination of Black and brown folks, because we know it's not just in City and County San Francisco. We know it's there. It's every employer. And so how do we actually start addressing this? And so thank you for bringing this issue to the forefront.
So I have just one suggestion in terms of moving forward. Because this has been an ongoing issue throughout the history.
55 years.
Well, actually, throughout the history of this whole country, right? Yeah. So I think that what we need to do is that I think we need to have a group of people that meets with you, so that it can be a collective decision about how we move forward. That not only focuses on how we as a body can push the city and county of San Francisco by way of resolutions or other things to get them to do the right thing. We ourselves don't have the power to pass laws that bind the city, but we can certainly push them to do that. One thing that we do have the ability to do, which is the other piece of this strategy, is that we, as the San Francisco Democratic Party, can adopt as part of our platform a Black agenda, right? The need to have a Black agenda so that we, moving forward, when it comes to endorsing candidates, when it comes to endorsing ballot measures, that the Black agenda and the need for that candidate, those measures to address the needs of the African American community are a consideration. We should, for instance, include that as part of our questionnaire to all of the candidates so that we make it clear where they stand, right? And that when we endorse the candidate, that we have that as a part of the consideration. So that's what I have in mind, the idea that we have a working group that works with you and with the workers. So I know that I am interested in being involved in that group of the members. You can please raise your hand. So we have member Sousa, we have member Baraka, member Mahongany, member Lacroix, member Gupta, member Kawada, member Chan, member Brock, member Lowe, and member Alexander. So you have a number of people. Oh, member Alioto. So what we're going to ask is our executive director to work with you and figure out how we can have the first meeting. And what I would say is that going forward on an ongoing basis, we're going to add this as a standing item on the agenda of the committee so that it doesn't get lost. So that every meeting we get a report on where this is.
Thank you.
Member Kelly and then member Mahoney.
Hi there. The last standing committee that has been started in our party happens to be the Affirmative Action Committee. It took them a lot longer than any other committee to get started. I would hope that somebody who is a delegate goes home and signs up for that committee. Because I think it's extremely important. If it's happening, the way we always talk about San Francisco, if it's happening here, we can make it happen anywhere. Well, what's happening to you here is happening to every African American in all the cities. And what we need is something for our Democratic Party. And we need to work on a platform plank there. We were the organization that brought Black Lives Matter to the Democratic Party and got it passed. It was our Democratic County Central Committee. What we need now is to get people on that committee and explain what is happening to workers who are Black and who are Black brown and how they're being treated. Thank you.
I just want to say I appreciate that, but for us, we need to start at home. And again, looking at what you did for the Democratic Party, I can't really remember her first name, but I want to say Alicia Garza, who was the founder of Black Lives. Did you guys see what she came out with the other day publicly about Hillary Clinton and a lot of the politicians, that they just use Black people for a vote?
Yeah.
So, again, I like the idea, David, you were a trailblazer in the Justice for Mario Woods movement for us, the community. You and Avalos got Mario Bay Woods Remembrance Day passed. And I just want to say, we like that idea, to be able to work with you and for you to work with us to be really moving forward, that I don't think San Francisco has ever had a Black agenda. So for those who've been in politics, tell me. In Washington, I know they've had a Black agenda. The Urban League has had Black agendas. but I don't know if San Francisco has ever had a Black agenda within the DCCC.
Thank you, Chair Campos, for introducing that working group and for everyone who volunteered to be on it. I definitely think that this should be a priority for us here at the Democratic Party. I feel like this should be our first issue that we tackle, but I think there are so many other issues that disproportionately affect the African American community. Just the other day, I was at a talk where the HRC discussed the extreme disparities in infant and mother mortality rates here in San Francisco. I mean, they're 4 times worse than they are for white women here in San Francisco. And that is something that everybody knows and no one has done anything about. So I think this should be just the first issue that we tackle, but I think this needs to be an ongoing working group until we can get some justice here.
Yeah, and that's why I founded Wealth and Disparities in the Black Community, in which we looked at health, mass incarceration, education, employment, and housing. That was the 5 issues when I first founded Wealth and Disparities in the Black Community. Those are the issues. And we also found as a community group, after 2 years, the disparities were so huge that the work was just really too much for our little small working group. But I appreciate you. I look forward to working with you, and so I'm ready. So grow up your sleep.
Well, I mean, we look forward to getting the work started, set up a meeting. The one thing that I would say, and I have been around for a long time, and the one thing that I am not interested in, and I just want to be very upfront about this. I am not interested in window dressing. I am not interested in making statements simply for the sake of making statements. And one thing that I have seen is that when it comes to the African American community, for some folks, right, it's easy to talk and have a press conference and you bring out Amos Brown or whoever and you say you have a Black agenda. That's not what I'm interested in. I'm interested in something meaningful that actually hopefully will lead to some results that are tangible at the city. And I can't overpromise what we can make the city do, but what I can tell you is what we as a party can do. And this party can make it clear moving forward that you cannot come to the San Francisco Democratic Party and ask for an endorsement and ask for support unless you make it clear that having a Black agenda is a priority for you, right? And so we're working with you, and
thank you. DCCC. So now I know where you guys are, right? All right. Thank you so much, David.
We will now move on to thank you for the record. Thank you, everyone. We're now going to move to item number 8, which is the endorsement for California Democratic Party Chair. As I envision this item, it's a 2-step item. It's a two-pronged item. The first one is the question of whether or not we should endorse, as the San Francisco Democratic Party, whether or not we should endorse in the race for chair of the state Democratic Party. The last time there was an election, this body did not take a position in that election. So that's the first question. And then if the answer to that question is that we should endorse, then we can proceed on who that person that we should endorse should be, okay? So I will open it up to discussion, the first action, if there is an action here, would be for someone to make a motion to endorse, and then it would take the majority of the body to support that motion for the endorsement to happen. So with that, Member Nicholson.
I move to make an endorsement in this particular race.
So we have a motion to endorse, and we have a second by Member Baraka. So we will open now to discussion. Does anyone want to discuss the issue of whether or not to endorse? Okay, so why don't we do a roll call on that motion? So again, an aye vote means that you want us to endorse in this race, and a no vote means that you don't. So with that, yes, Member Gupta.
I would just like to hear if anybody feels comfortable what they feel would be any cons to endorsing. Just curious if anybody feels comfortable discussing that.
Any comments on that? Okay. Yes, the question from Member Gupta is that what would be the cons or negatives in endorsing in this race? Does anyone want to speak to that? You do?
I respect.
Sorry.
I respect the fact that people are the advocates for their candidate, and the candidates would like to be able to say they have the endorsement of the San Francisco Democratic Party. That's politics, that's fair. In the past, going back to when Jerry Brown was chair, or Steve was chair, or Bill Press, Art Torres, we had difficult chairs races. The party did not take a position. This Central Committee did not take a position. But the candidates are going around California and asking for support. There's some that are supporting some candidates and others. I don't think it's that critical for the race, but I respect that argument can be made. If you want to advance your candidate, good luck.
Here's my letter to you. Okay.
All right, why don't we take the roll on that? So I'll turn the mic to our second.
So on the vote, whether or not you're going to hold endorsements, Member Alexander. Member Aliotto. Member Baraka.
Hell yeah.
Member Bryan. Member Campos. Member Chan. Member De Jesus. Member Duff. Member Pure. Member Galata. Member Grove. Member Gupta. Member Akshay is an aye. Member Jung. What's that? Member Kim. Member LeQuan. Member Lowe. Sorry about that. Member Mahadi. Member Souza? We'll go to the SFDCCC. Member Feinstein? Pelosi?
Stay.
Spear?
Stay.
Kunalakis? Mom? Cohen?
Aye.
Wiener?
No.
Ting?
Abstain.
And Chu? And Mahogany. This is on the vote, whether we're going to endorse or not. 21 votes aye. 1 no, 4 abstentions.
Great. So, so the ayes have it, and we will be endorsing, or at least taking a position in this race. And in terms of the next vote, the way that it will work is that we will call the roll, and before we do that, we'll have a discussion, and you will say the name of the candidate that you are voting for, of the people that are running. And I want to just say who the candidates are. And there are 7 candidates. Albert Lenore, Lenore Albert, Kimberly Ellis, Rusty Hicks, Mike Katz-LeCobb, Duraka Larimore Hall, Rita Ramirez, and Mike Saifi. Is that Saifi? I don't know how you pronounce it. So those are the 7 names of the candidates. So we will now open the floor, or yes, so you can actually, the choices are you vote for one of the candidates that I listed of the 7 candidates. You can vote no endorsement, which would actually mean that we take no position, no endorsement in the race, or you can abstain. Those are the 3 options that you have when your name is called. But with that, I'm going to now open the floor for anyone who would like to discuss any of the candidates. Member Baraka.
Yes, Chair, seeing that we have, 36 delegates? Will the delegates then be required to vote for whatever candidate we end up endorsing for them? Will it bind them?
I'm not sure. Yes, Mr. So I think that the binds the delegates that were appointed by the chair and that were confirmed by this body, but not the other ones who were separately elected through the voting process.
Not the elected members.
So member.
It's the position of the county committee that, and the candidates can use it in their literature, in their speeches, in their stump speeches. But the individuals who are appointed by the county committee can vote their conscience who they want. Absolutely. There's nothing in bylaws, there's nothing anywhere that says, and it's the truth, whether it's Ventura County or Santa Barbara or Los Angeles or any county, that and if that's the case, and if the county committee takes this position, then I challenge you to go to Los Angeles County, where the head of the labor council in Los Angeles is going to be, and there are hundreds of delegates there. And then you're going to say none of them can vote for Kimberly? So be careful where you go with this.
So I question for point clarification, I think it's something we can follow up on afterwards. Certainly not ready to vote here tonight.
Let me say this, that from my perspective, I don't necessarily feel that we should bind any of the people that were appointed by us. To me, I see it more as a question, and I don't know what the answer is. And so I know that we have a meeting that will take place prior to the actual convention. So what I would like is to get information so that we have an accurate understanding of what the rules are. And I just want to note that I don't have, I don't feel one way or the other. It's simply a question that was raised. I have heard that in the past there is some belief that if the county committee takes a position that it binds the people that were appointed by the county committee. I don't know if that's true or not. Former Chair Junk, do you have any?
So when I was chair, I never allowed anybody to what this country did. We all had our wishes, which we made known, and no one ever said, you have to do this, okay? It's a little bit ridiculous. For instance, like we were endorsing the mayor, and the DQC decided to endorse Court, right? And then our county committee member decided, decided to support somebody else, and we could, it's almost like unconstitutional to tell people how they can vote. I just would not go down that path at all.
Well, I don't know, but that's on the last convention we went to, many of the delegates were bound super delegates and stuff, we're all bound as people appointed, so we should check these.
We will check the rules. I would say, I won't speak for myself. I personally, when I appointed or recommended for appointment individuals, my understanding is that we were appointing people to go to the convention and to use their judgment to make the calls that they felt were right for themselves and the decisions. But we'll have an answer to that. So we will now again open the floor if anyone would like to speak on behalf of any of the 7 candidates. If not, we can proceed to vote. Okay, why don't we now call the roll? And again, as we go down the roll, you have 3 options. You say the name of the candidate that you would like to endorse. You can say no endorsement, or you can abstain. So, yes, I mean I just opened the floor for discussion. So, would you like to say something? Okay, Member Lee.
I just want to say, I never read a room, and I know there are those people in the room are Kimberly Ellis, and if she wins, I would support her and hope that she is successful as the chair as we go into our election next year. But Scott is supporting Rusty Hicks. And I think what's important through this is we get through the next month. These are great Democrats. These are great people. This gentleman is the head of the LA Labor Federation. His credentials are exceptional. He's had a great deal to do with electing great Democrats in particularly Los Angeles County, and we see the endorsements that he has, they're incredible. So I think there's a reason to be proud to support Kimberly, but I hope everyone will know that the other candidates are really good candidates. Their credentials are exceptional, and that we should be all proud to support who we supported today. Thank you.
Member Brown.
I would just like to say that considering what Felicia just went into, and also considering that Senator Rayner has been called to task about an issue, whether or not it's the right way to describe it, I think that it's clear that no one wants to support a race-leading political campaign. But we have a very qualified African-American woman who's running for state chair, who should be given an opportunity to run our party. It's time. And she came within just, I believe, 62 votes. 57 votes the last time. And it was because certain delegates were given their marching orders on who they should vote for. And I think that we're fooling ourselves if we say that that doesn't happen, because it does. So I think that it would be a wise choice for us to choose Kimberly Ellis.
Member Spear.
I don't have any direction, so I'm going to have to abstain again tonight. I will point out Jackie Spears supported Kimberly Ellis last night. Again, I have to abstain.
Member Davis.
So I couldn't find it, but I did look at California State Democratic Party chairman. I haven't found an African male or African female or black female. No, I'm not sure. Obviously Latino either, but it's time for change. And I know Rusty has a great record. He's a good candidate. Just like voting for Ellis doesn't mean he's down. He's got great credentials, but I think it's time for Kimberly Ellis, and I certainly be supporting her here tonight.
Any other comments? When we now proceed to the vote.
So just a reminder, you are naming who you want to vote for. You can also choose no endorsement, or you can abstain.
Member Alexander. Member Aliota. Member Baraka.
Kimberly Ellis.
Member Wright. Member Campos.
Ellis.
Chair. Member De Jesus. Member Duffy.
Ellis.
Member Feuer.
Member Villado. Member Grove. Member Gupta. I had to share for Kimberly Ellis. Member Joan. Member Kim. Member LaCroix. Member Leviton.
I have a proxy at Family Matter, Ellis.
Member Lowe. Member Mahogany. Member Mandel. Member Souza. Feinstein. Oh, sorry. Pelosi.
Abstain.
Spear.
Abstain.
Kounalakis. Cohen.
Kimberly Ellis.
Wiener.
Russ Wiener.
Ting.
No endorsement.
And Chu. We have 20 votes for Kimberly Ellis, 1 vote for Rusty Hicks, 3 no endorsements, 3 abstentions.
So congratulations to Kimberly Ellis, our endorsed candidate for state. And again, thank you to the other candidates, and I know that whoever wins, that we're going to be in good hands and we're going to work together. So again, congratulations, Kimberly. We'll now move on to item number 9, which is a resolution calling for the end of physical corporal punishment of children. And this is something that has been put forward by Member Alexander, and I'd like to be added as a co-sponsor.
Thank you. I know we have a lot of stuff in front of us today, so I'll be quick. There is, I want to point out the changes in this resolution from when it was originally introduced. I'm introducing this. This was written by Amy Bacharach, who is an ADEM delegate from AB 19. And this is originally called a ban on physical corporate punishment of children. It's now a resolution calling for the end of physical corporate punishment for children. And the first therefore be it resolved at the end is a little more vague than it was specifically mentioning in the home setting before. I think that this generally speaks for itself. The Academy of Pediatrics, the American Psychological Association, and various other professional organizations have come out against the use of corporal punishment as punishment for children. Anybody, including children. And I was actually surprised to find out that corporal punishment is still used in several facilities in the state of California. And so that is, the Democratic Party would be calling for the end of that, and also to put in place any setting and support strong educational programs, parenting classes, evidence-supported early intervention programs during pregnancy, and well-child visits and other programs and policies that reduce spanking and corporal punishment. And so the idea here is this is not about criminalization. There's too much of that, and always takes the wrong direction when it does. I've heard as well, you have shared those kind of stories, and I've shared those with the author. And so this is, so I hope these changes will be acceptable to the body and the
I think that this resolution is incredibly well intended, but I am concerned that this will still disproportionately impact the Black community. African American children are disproportionately represented in the foster care system, and as a social worker, I know that African American children are far more likely to be removed from their families of origin whenever CPS or police are involved. So given the history of our laws in this country, and given the excessive burdens that are placed on the African American community, I would hate to see a well-intentioned resolution have potentially devastating impacts on the Black community and on Black families. I do recognize the amendments. I don't think that they are explicit or go far enough. I would ask that this be tabled until there can be amendments made that actually directly address these issues and how it will potentially impact the African American community. Even, say it again. Yes. Well, that's basically it.
Yes, member Susan.
As a public defender, I did see corporal punishment cases brought against African American women, any criminal proceeding. I didn't see it for any others, and that is my concern. And I mean, we're not talking injuries, but my concern also is that it might have portion of that. And I did see that it has to have some training, echo your concerns.
Any other comments? Yes, member Lowe.
Thank you, Member Hungerford and DC's for shedding light on it. Originally, I didn't know what did sit well with me about this resolution, and it does beg the question as to what kind of discourse we need to be having as a on a public level about whether or not the Democratic Party should be taking positions on certain aspects. And so I would support tabling this item so that we can have these further discussions, but I thank you for raising these concerns.
Member Baraka, member Goodman.
I would just like to ask Member Mahogany, what in particular in the resolution don't you agree with? I'm just wanting to know because I would like to talk to the author about it. Being raised in a Black parent home, I got many spankings. I think I have one permanent injury from that. So I mean, it's funny, but it's not. So I get it, but I also want to respect what problem you have and what Member De Jesus thinking already.
Yeah, I can respond to that. I also, agree. I feel like I was also lightly spanked, not to the point of having injury, but I do not plan on spanking my children, and I agree with the intention of the resolution. What I would like to see is clear language that addresses criminalization in the resolution, and how it could disproportionately affect specifically poor people and people of color, and how, we recognizing that these communities love their children and that wanted to right by their children, and just ensuring that we're not going to use this as a way of criminalizing and taking children away from their families, because as we know, and as I have seen in my work as a social worker, Black families are the ones that are most impacted by this and are, they're not treated the same as white families in these cases. So I want to see that directly addressed, because if it's not being directly addressed, then the impact will be had.
So,
as a physician and as a parent, as a physician, I do practice evidence-based medicine, and I appreciate the author's, reference to the importance of following the evidence. But my concern, similar to Member Lowe, was that this resolution I didn't agree with, and I feel like it just borders on what shouldn't be legislated necessarily, and I fully support education, but then that also, once again, similar to what Member Mahogany said, gets into the point of access. We know that our communities, Black and brown people, have poor access to care, access to services, so how are they going to access those educational opportunities that are there in parenting classes? And then the concern is then they're not receiving the services, and there will be this potential resolution which can concern turning into legislation or policy that will just target individuals and target families who didn't necessarily have the same access to these educational opportunities too. So I support, maybe this could be the first item for the Black Agenda Working Group could address, perhaps, as a suggestion.
unless a member feels strongly about it and wants to make a motion, I would simply ask that we continue this item, and we'll bring it back to give an opportunity to make changes. As someone who supports the concept, I certainly do not want to go down the path of opening the door to criminalizing we need to go into this issue. So I thank you, Member Mahoney. I certainly wasn't thinking about that and aware of that very important issue. Yes. So we have a motion by Member Wiener to continue to call the chair. We have a second by Member Souza. Can we take that without objection? Without objection. Thank you very much. We'll now move on to item number 10, which is a resolution in support of the National Origin-Based Anti-Discrimination for Non-Immigrants No Ban Act. We'll turn it over to Member Francis Shea, and again, thank you for bringing this forward. I'm happy to be a co-sponsor with Member Mack.
Thank you so much. I only wanted to make a small amendment. Since the time that I introduced this, we actually do have, because literally I put it on the agenda when it had just been introduced. So we now actually have the bill numbers. It's HR 2214 and Senate Bill 1123. So I'm just asking to add that where it's referenced in the resolution. It's a minor amendment. The resolution kind of speaks for itself. Like the main things that it does is that it would immediately rescind all versions of the Muslim ban. So there are currently kind of 3 versions out there. So on the passage of this, it would immediately do that. It would also amend the Immigration and Nationality Act, sort of the non-discrimination provision, to explicitly prohibit discrimination, to actually specifically call out religion as a category that to bring discrimination on. It would also limit the president's authority to use this kind of method in the future, these type of bans. It just has requirements on sort of making sure you have credible facts and it has to be temporary. Basically, you have to talk about it a little bit, but have more justification. It also contains transparent and accountability measures for the executive branch. So it is broadly supported. I'd like to thank, even though she's not here, Senator Feinstein was one of the original sponsors on the Senate version, and I'd also like to thank Congresswoman Spear for co-sponsoring the House version. It also has over 400 organizations in support that include Muslim Advocates, Southern Public Law Center, National Immigration Law Center, Refugee Project, the ACLU, the NAACP, really broad spectrum of support. So I really hope that I would encourage you to consider that.
We have a motion by Member Francis Shea to amend the resolution along the lines that she described. Do we have a second? Second by Member Jesus. Can we take the motion to amend without objection? Without objection. So on the amended resolution, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any against say nay. Any abstention? Any? Okay. So we have abstention by Member Cohen. Anyone else? So De Jesus, Souza, Lowe, Gupta, and the resolution passes. Thank you, Member Shea, for bringing it forward. We'll now move on to item number 11, which is a resolution calling for greater accountability of PG&E and no public bailout. And this is something that was brought forward by Member Gawada and Grodd. I know that Member Gawada is not here. We do have Shanti Singh as his proxy, so but I'll turn it over to Member Grodd and Shanti, if you want to say anything else.
Thank you. So I actually have Lee Lovett here to present on the resolution. She was going to brought it for the DCCC. I have things on the amendment from Member Alexander that I'd like to add. So at the end of the last, where it's resolved, is that any action be taken while protecting PG&E workers' rights, collective bargaining power, and compensation packages.
So we have a motion to amend along those lines by Member Grodd, seconded by Member Gawada. We take the motion to amend without objection. Without objection, Would you like,
Yes, I just wanted to
come up and
yeah.
say a few words? And I know that Member Spear also would like to speak to this.
Good evening. I'll be brief, and thank you very much for the time. So we all know the damage that PG&E's equipment and processes have done in terms of the wildfire discussion that we've had over the past several years. This is a resolution to call for accountability, because we have seen with the determination of what happened in the 2010 San Bruno explosions of the gas pipelines. But we've also seen with some of the wildfires that we've had up until the Camp Fire, which is likely also pointing toward PG&E, that there has been a lot of negligence, falsifying of records, and just a history that is not supporting the needs of the people over the profits that an investor-owned utility is designed by nature to chase and to support. So this is about accountability. It's about making sure that we protect our residents and also our ratepayers, which are kind of one and the same in most cases. And most importantly, we're protecting our communities as well, going into the future in an age of climate change. So if there are any questions, I can address them.
Thank you very much. Member Spear.
Thank you, and thank you for the amendment too, because it's really important to separate out PG&E management from PG&E rank and file employees. We have intimate experience with PG&E and the management's capacities to deny reality and to deny culpability. And I personally spent a lot of time on that after the San Bruno explosion. And in any event, I do expect to be able to support this plan. I was wondering if you could consider another amendment that would be in the last paragraph. One of my other roles, I was staff director for the State Senate Insurance Committee at one point, and for about 8 years I worked on analyzing homeowners insurance. And in the last paragraph, you have a statement that says, accountable for wildfire due to negligence to create a catastrophic wildfire plan funded by insurance policies. And I guess I'd like to caution you that that might be too narrow a base to do what needs to be done. If there's going to be a catastrophic fire fund, it probably needs to be from a lot of different sources. So what I was going to suggest is substitute language would be funded by a source that does not include ratepayers. Because I think that gets at your point, the ratepayers shouldn't be paying for it without focusing strictly on insurance policies. And by the way it's written, it would apply to life insurance, health insurance, boiler insurance. There's thousands of types of insurance. It's a source that does not include ratepayers.
Thank you. I will put those amendments.
So we have a motion by Spear, seconded by Delana, to amend along those lines. We'll take that without objection. And anything else to add?
Yes, I believe Member Delana and I wanted to say something in addition to what we mentioned. I would like to add that I sat on the San Francisco Public Utilities Commission Citizens Advisory Committee when we were trying to pass Clean Power stuff, and the amount of factors that are on PG&E management is appalling. I think they spent $8 million on the ballot measure, so we wouldn't have clean energy managed by San Francisco. So I think this is really important to protect ratepayers and people who live in high fire areas. I think if PG&E had spent $30 million cleaning up the tree lines, we wouldn't have that devastating Camp Fire.
I also want to say, speaking as myself, Shanti Singh, the artist formerly known as Peter Delana, but I, Shanti, am an alternate member of the public for the Local Agency Formation Commission here in City County of San Francisco, which manages and has oversight over Clean Power SF. We have been looking, I really urge people to support this resolution. It's for Peter's resolution, or mine, I guess. It's really, I have to speak to the fact that it's been enormously challenging to see even the hurdles before the wildfires that have been thrown in the way of Clean Power SF by PG&E And since we've begun exploring potential avenues for municipalization, not just through LAFCO, but also, it's something that I think has a lot of support across the spectrum of the Democratic Party in San Francisco. It's something Mayor Breed is talking about, it's something Senator Reno is talking about. It's something that we're all talking about and having a really important conversation about, and it's really critical that we have as much support as we can going into this process, because even opening up these avenues, even having a conversation is going to be complicated, I think, by PG&E's interests. And I think we've seen the package that just came out this week with their new CEO. And the fact that they're already talking about passing future liabilities onto ratepayers this week. But they're already signaling what they're going to do, and I think we need to be prepared for that.
Member Ting. Thank you. I just wanted to just quickly say before we take a vote that that we're going to be abstaining on this, but it's not, and I wanted to say to the authors, the Congressman Spear, and such, it's not about really the content. I mean, we usually have a policy of abstaining on things that are called upon us in the legislature to do something because, we don't know. I can't tell you right now what there might be coming down the pipe in the legislature about this. There probably be something. It's definitely a hot issue. There have been legislation before. We've seen how that did not quite cover the circumstances we found ourselves in, but just for, that we are going to be in these discussions, that it's not about, obviously, something has to be done, but just for the purposes that we're going to abstain today. I'll simply briefly note that I'm very grateful for this resolution. I spent many years litigating against PG&E, and as chair of LAFCO and the author of the ordinance that passed the Power South. Fighting with PG&E was just a constant thing, and it's an ongoing battle. But the reality is that the reason why PG&E has been able to do this is because there has been political support for them in San Francisco and in Sacramento. And hopefully after everything that has been done, that will change. I do want to note, as was noted by Member Spear's office, that I do think there's a difference between the PG&E worker who's out there, working very hard for ratepayers, and the corporate leaders, and it is that corporate structure and its culture that needs to change. So with that, those in favor of the resolution as amended, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Abstentions? So Cohen and King. And two? What? Oh, Pinawakis, I'm sorry, Governor Pinawakis. Great. Thank you very much. We'll now move on to item number 12, which is, De Jesus will be added as a co-sponsor to item 11, as will I and Baraka, Sousa. Great. Thank you. Item number 12 is a resolution supporting state legislative reforms to ensure local control and greater oversight of charter schools. This is something that was brought forward by Member Galata, and I'm happy to be a co-sponsor, and I'll speak to it after you do.
I'm actually just going to recite some remarks that Peter asked me to pass on. First off, this is an issue the Digital C has taken on before. The body passed a resolution last year calling for a moratorium on new charter schools. This year, diving back into me as Sean's saying again, I actually saw a bunch of charter school pro and con bill agitators this morning in Sacramento, so it's on my mind. Going back to Peter, this year there are a number of state bills calling for greater oversight and local control over charter schools. As for what I could see today, this morning in the Capitol, it's being very fiercely fought up there. Peter also wanted me to make sure to thank UESF and their members for their continued advocacy on the issue, to Annabelle Luenist for working on this resolution, highlighting the importance of the Democratic Party and the DCCC weighing in on this. And I believe Peter, well, I think you can go, and then I think Peter wanted to invite Annabelle to speak more about the resolution and the state bills.
Thank you. And I do want to hear from Annabelle Vargas, and I'll simply note that we have been on record already calling for greater accountability and local control around charter schools. But I think that many people don't fully understand how crazy the law is today, right? That you can have the elected Board of Education of the San Francisco Unified School District deny a charter school and have another body somewhere else in the state actually grant that very same charter school a charter so that they could actually operate here in San Francisco. It makes no sense, and I do believe that when it comes to our commitment to labor, no greater example of the need for us to stand with labor can be found than our teachers, because I do think that they are struggling and that the charter school movement is part of that struggle. So with that, Annabelle, I'll give you the floor, and thank you for waiting this whole time, and thank you to all the teachers who spoke earlier who came to speak to us today.
Good evening. It's actually an honor for me to be here, and the wait is okay. When we want something, we need to be part and we need to be engaged in it. So it's all right. So what I wanted to say tonight is thank you so much. Last year, we mentioned that this body passed the resolution to call for a moratorium on charter schools, and you set that tone. And now we're here to actually put that into action. And one of the things that I wanted to say is that this is an opportunity to fight back against the Trump's and Betsy DeVos agenda to privatize public education and to defend and protect one of the greatest pillars of our democracy, which is public education. For too long, billionaire-backed charter schools have operated without the true accountability of our communities and our students. And you heard what happened here at San Francisco Unified School District. Now, there are 4 critical bills that have been introduced in Sacramento that will ensure that charter schools are truly held accountable. Together, they will restore power back to local school boards and parents to decide if the charter are the right fits for their communities and their students. They will also ensure that billionaire charters won't destabilize another public school district. So I'm going to tell you about the bills that are going to be doing this. AB 1505 by Assembly members Patrick O'Donnell and Rob Bonanta. And Rob Bonta will give control back to a local elected school board to decide whether a charter school is the right fit for their communities instead of an elected official bodies who might be several hundred miles away. This evening you heard a representative from Malcolm X Academy who talked about what happened at her school when KIPP Academy was co-located, and this decision happened. The San Francisco Unified School District denied KIPP to co-locate in Malcolm X, yet they went to the state, and the state overturned that decision. And even though San Francisco Unified School District denied that. So with AB, basically the other thing that AB 1505 will do, it would also allow local school boards to consider facilities, fiscal, and academic impacts on the districts when considering new charter school petitions. Many times they don't look at how this is going to impact the schools, what's going to impact in terms of the fiscal, how well they are fiscally. And so that bill will do that. And then you have 1506 by Assembly Member Kevin McCarthy, which will establish a cap on the growth of charter schools. There are more charter schools in the state of California than school districts. There's more than 1,300 charter schools. And then you have 1507 by Assembly Member Christy Smith, which will close a loophole in the current law that allows a charter school to operate outside of its authorized district. And what we have seen, this has been taken advantage. For example, San Francisco Unified School District can actually approve a charter school, and that charter school does not have to operate within our boundaries. They can go down to San Mateo, they can go down to Southern California, and we've been seeing this too often, and that needs to change. And then lastly, one bill that is in the Senate is by by Senator Maria Elena Durazo, which is, and I know in your resolution it says 527, actually is 756. which will set a moratorium on the authorization of any new charter schools in the state of California until 2014. Only if several policies are not enacted before 2020. So I just wanted to say important decisions of our charter schools belong to local communities, not in the hands of deep-pocketed donors or state officials that are hundreds away from that district, and placing decision-making power back in the hands of local communities and ensuring that charter schools don't destabilize any more school districts will mean more accountability and better outcomes for all of our students. And lastly, join teachers, students, parents, community, labor, and many elected officials from across the state in our fight in protecting and defending public education. I urge your support for this resolution.
Thank you very much, Ms. Ibanez. And can we have a motion to amend the resolution to reflect the change of the motion? Seconded by Sousa, we'll take that without objection. Without objection, Sousa, Member Sousa.
Hi, thank you for working on this resolution. I went to Mission High School, and because of public school, I had an opportunity in life, and now I have a master's degree in public affairs. Public school has made a difference in immigrants' lives, in many people that haven't had the access historically. So I think this resolution plays an important role in addressing this disparity and ensuring that charter schools are held accountable. So I would like to be added as a co-sponsor. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Member Alexander?
I have two amendments that I just want to add a little about. The first is in the fourth, whereas it should read, whereas local school boards are the best determiners of the appropriate number and type of schools in their district. And then also in the first, therefore be it resolved, please add the California
Association in the list of the organizations that are calling for the school. Make sure you're reading the California Federation of Teachers. Sure. On the amendment resolution, any other comments or questions? Over here, some words that are going to be followed. So long as I'm saying the extension of the United States and the words
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Abstentions? So Ting, Cohen, Weir, Kunalakas, and Jung. Anyone else? Okay, great. Thank you very much. It passes, and thank you again for.
Can I say one last thing? Actually, we would like to invite all of you to a mobilization that we're going to be having in Sacramento in support of this bill on May 22nd. We will have transportation, and I'll send the information to Tom.
You can send the information to our executive director, and he'll email all of us for that information. Thank you very much. We'll now move on to item number 13, new business. The only thing that I would say is that we have a number of activities between now and the convention, and so we'll keep you apprised of when those are. So please stay tuned. Record. Okay.
Folks, my name is Amy Rahimi. I'm here as a proxy for Malia Cohen, but I wanted to speak on my own behalf on the No Ban Act resolution. I sit on the resolutions committee at the state party, and I'd love to see this submitted as a resolution for us to consider. It's a particularly important piece of legislation for the Muslim community. It's been something we've been very active on. And if the sponsors are amenable to this, I'm happy to work with you to get it submitted. The deadline is next week, I believe, so we have to move quickly.
You can work with member Francis Shea and myself and our executive director to make sure that happens. Happy to do that. Okay, great, thank you. Member Ting.
It's been one of those days where I forgot my flyer, so I will send this electronically to Han, but we have 2 events coming up, which you all know about. This Sunday from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., we're having our annual bike safety fair at APG Middle School. It's going to be a great day. I'll send these to Han and Sprout. Come bring your bike to tuned up, learn how to ride more safely, bring your kid. They'll have bikes to borrow and helmets to borrow and give away. We'll have bike club giveaways. It's our annual event we really enjoy doing, so I'll make sure you all know about that. Come by. And then secondly, May 9th, Thursday evening, from 5:30 to 7, we're having a budget town hall at the ROE Place in State Building Auditorium. And we're going to 455 Gold Gate. And so Senator Ting and our chief budget consultant will be there to walk through the budget process, take questions. We'll have a reception before 4:30 to 5:30. Come mix and mingle with people and nonprofit leaders to share priorities as well. And I'll make sure that we have those flyers to electronically.
Great, thank you everyone. Seeing no other business, member.
Remember, if you have these resolutions, they must be in by May 1st at 5 p.m. And they should be done online. And they should be 400 words. And they should not mention any legislation or you're screwed.
On that note, seeing no other business before the Democratic County Central Committee, the meeting is adjourned. Thank you, San Francisco Democrats.
These things are already
Wow.